The National Library of Australia is the largest reference library of Australia, responsible under the terms of the National Library Act for maintaining and developing a national collection of library material, including a comprehensive collection of library material relating to Australia and the Australian people. In 2012-2013, the National Library collection comprised 6,496,772 items, and an additional 15,506 meters of manuscript material. History. The National Library of Australia, while formally established by the passage of the National Library Act 1960, had been functioning as a national library rather than strictly a parliamentary library almost since its inception. In 1901, a Commonwealth Parliamentary Library was established to serve the newly formed Federal Parliament of Australia. From its inception, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Library was driven to development of a truly national collection. In 1907, the Joint Parliamentary Library Committee, under the chairmanship of the Speaker, Sir Frederick Holder, defined the objective of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Library in the following words: "The Library Committee is keeping before it the ideal of building up, for the time when Parliament shall be established in the federal capital, a great public library on the lines of the world-famed Library of Congress at Washington, such a library, indeed, as shall be worthy of the Australian nation, the home of the literature, not of a state, or of a period, but of the world, and of all time." The present library building was opened in 1968. The building was designed by the architectural firm of Bunning and Madden. The foyer is decorated in marble, with stained glass windows by Leonard French and 3 tapestries by Matthew Taggart. Collections. In 2012-2013, the library collection comprised 6,496,772 items, with an estimated additional 2,325,900 items held in the Manuscripts collection. The library's collections of Australiana have developed into the nation's single most important resource of materials recording the Australian cultural heritage. Australian writers, editors and illustrators are actively sought and well represented, whether published in Australia or overseas. The library's collection includes all formats of material, from books, journals, websites, and manuscripts to pictures, photographs, maps, music, oral history recordings, manuscript papers and ephemera. Approximately 92.1% of the library's collection has been catalogued and is discoverable through the online catalogue. The library has digitized over 174,000 items from its collection and, where possible, delivers these directly across the Internet. The library is a world leader in digital preservation techniques, and maintains an Internet-accessible archive of selected Australian websites called the Pandora Archive. Australian and General Collection. The library collects material produced by Australians, for Australians, or about the Australian experience in all formats, not just printed works, books, serials, newspapers, maps, posters, music and printed ephemera, but also online publications and unpublished materials such as manuscripts, pictures and oral histories. The library has particular collection strengths in the performing arts, including dance. The library's considerable collections of general overseas and rare book materials, as well as world-class Asian and Pacific collections which augment the Australiana collections. The print collections are further supported by extensive microform holdings. The library also maintains the National Reserve Braille collection. Asian collections. The library houses the largest and most actively developing research resource on Asia in Australia, and the largest Asian language collections in the Southern Hemisphere, with over 500,000 volumes in the collection, as well as extensive online and electronic resources. The library collects resources about all Asian countries in Western languages extensively, and resources in the following Asian languages: Burmese, Chinese, Persian, Indonesian, Japanese, Khmer, Korean, Lao, Manchu, Mongolian, Thai, Timorese, and Vietnamese. The library has acquired a number of important Western and Asian language scholarly collections from researchers and bibliophiles. These collections include Australian Buddhist Library Collection, Braga Collection, Klosh Collection, Coedes Collection, London Missionary Society Collection, Luce Collection, McLaren Human Collection, Otley Bear Collection, Sakakibara Collection, Sangyi Collection, Simon Collection, Harold S. Williams Collection. The Asian collections are searchable via the National Library's catalogue. Pictures and manuscripts. The National Library holds an extensive collection of pictures and manuscripts. The manuscript collection contains about 26 million separate items, covering in excess of 10,492 meters of shelf space. The collection relates predominantly to Australia, but there are also important holdings relating to Papua New Guinea, New Zealand and the Pacific. The collection also holds a number of European and Asian manuscript collections or single items have been received as a part of formed book collections. The Australian manuscript collections date from the period of maritime exploration and settlement in the 18th century until the present, with the greatest area of strength dating from the 1890s onwards. The collection includes a large number of outstanding single items, such as the 14th-century Chertsey cartulary, the Journal of James Cook on the H.M. Bark Endeavour, inscribed on the memory of the World Register in 2001, the diaries of Robert O'Hara Burke and William John Wills from the Bourke and Wills expedition, and Charles Kingsford Smith's and Charles Olm's log of the Southern Cross. A wide range of individuals and families are represented in the collection, with special strength in the fields of politics, public administration, diplomacy, theatre, art, literature, the pastoral industry and religion. Examples are the papers of Alfred Deakin, Sir John Latham, Sir Keith Murdoch, Sir Hans Hayson, Sir John Monash, Vance Palmer and Nettie Palmer, A.D. Hope, Manning Clark, David Williamson, W.M. Hughes, Sir Robert Menzies, Sir William McMahon, Lord Casey, Geoffrey Dutton, Peter Sculthorpe, Daisy Bates, Jessie Street, and Eddie Mabo and James Cook, both of whose papers were inscribed on UNESCO's Memory of the World Programme Register in 2001. The library has also acquired the records of many national non-governmental organizations. They include the records of the federal secretariats of the Liberal Party, the ALP, the Democrats, the RSL, the Australian Inland Mission, the Australian Union of Students, the Australian Ballet, the Australian Elizabethan Theatre Trust, the Australian Institute of Urban Studies, Australian Industries Protection League, the Australian Conservation Foundation, and the Australian Council of National Trusts. Finally, the library holds about 37,000 reels of microfilm of manuscripts and archival records, mostly acquired overseas and predominantly of Australian and Pacific interest. The National Library's pictures collection focuses on Australian people, places and events, from European exploration of the South Pacific to contemporary events. Artworks and photographs are acquired primarily for their informational value, and for their importance as historical documents. Media represented in the collection include photographs, drawings, watercolors, oils, lithographs, engravings, etchings and sculpture, busts. Reading rooms. The large National Library building is home to various reading rooms and collections. On the ground floor is the main reading room. This is where the bulk of the library's internet access terminals are located, and where wireless internet access is available. Services are also delivered on-site from the Petherick Reading Room on the ground floor, the newspaper and microforms and map reading rooms on the lower ground floor, manuscripts and pictures on level 2, and Asian collections on level 3. Limited space is also available for readers at the Humanex. Services. The National Library of Australia provides a national leadership role in developing and managing collaborative online services with the Australian library community, making it easier for users to find and access information resources at the national level. Australian National Bibliographic Database and offers free access through the Libraries Australia subscription-based service, which is also operated by the NLA. It is used for reference, collection development, cataloguing, and interlibrary lending. Cataloguing and publication details, ISSNs and ISMNs for Australian publishers. Pandora, Australia's web archive, a collection of Australian online publications, established initially by the National Library of Australia in 1996. And now built in collaboration with 9 other Australian libraries and cultural collecting organisations. Trove, online library database aggregator. Trove is an online library database aggregator, a centralised national service built with the collaboration of major libraries of Australia. Trove's most well-known feature is the digitised collection of Australian newspapers. By June 2013, over 10 million digitised pages, or 100 million articles, were accessible through Trove. Many of the NLA's resource discovery services have been fully integrated with Trove, meaning that several are now accessible only through the site. Others use Trove as their primary means of public access. The service is able to locate resources about Australia and Australians, which reaches many locations otherwise unavailable to external search engines. Directors: 1901 to 1927 Arthur Wadsworth, Interim Commonwealth Parliamentary Librarian. 1927 to 1947 Kenneth Binns, CBE, Commonwealth Parliamentary Librarian. 1947 to 1970 Harold Leslie White, CBE, National Librarian. 1970 to 1974 Alan Percy Fleming, CBE, National Librarian. 1974 to 1980 George Chandler, Director General. 1980 to 1985 Harrison Bryan Au, Director General. 1985 to 1999 Warren Horton Am, Director General. 1999 to 2010 Jan Fullerton Au, Director General. 2011 present Anne-Marie Schwertlich, Director General.